With regards to 9/11, there are many suspicious things that took place. Things like NORAD, the CIA, the FBI, and many others outright lying. Things like not being allowed to see certain documentation. Things like Philip Zelikow being put in charge of the 9/11 Commission. Things like Bush and Cheney fighting against the families for an investigation. Again, there are many examples. One thing that stands out to me as far as being suspicious behavior is when at first Bush and Cheney fought against testifying before the 9/11 Commission. This was followed by an agreement to meet with certain members of the 9/11 Commission, but only if they did so behind closed doors, together, not under oath, with no recordings and no transcripts allowed. This is not what the 9/11 families wanted.
The President and Vice President of the United States, don't you think they should be able to stand up and speak their own words? They should go under oath.
I'm not the only one who thinks that this type of behavior is suspicious. Listen to what Rep. Arthur Davis and Scott McClellan have to say about this type of behavior during McClellan's testimony about the Valerie Plame leak on June 20th, 2008.
To come and appear under oath, to allow anyone who wants to ask you questions to do so. Mr. Rove has, not surprisingly to you, I suspect, declined the invitation. Mr. Rove has come back and he said to the committee, well, I'm willing to talk, but only if there is no oath, only if there are no cameras present, only if there are no notes made of what I have to say. And let me just ask you, based on what you know of Mr. Rove, Mr. McClellan, does it first of all surprise you that Mr. Rove is seeking limitations on the manner and the circumstances in which he would appear before this committee?
No, it doesn't surprise me, and I think it's probably part of an effort to stonewall the whole process.
Would you trust Mr. Rove if he were not under oath to tell the truth?
Well, based on my own experience, I could not say that I would.
When Dick Cheney testified about the Valerie Plame leak, Raw Story reported that, quote, Cheney cannot recall almost anything about Plame outing. In the post-9/11 world, we are asked that if we see something, we are supposed to say something. What number do I call to report Bush and Cheney's suspicious behavior concerning 9/11? The following is a quote from a press release by the 9/11 Family Steering Committee on April 1st, 2004. Quote, their testimony should be separate, in public, and under oath so that the Commission can properly comprehend the individual responsibilities and decisions of the President and Vice President. Individual testimonies would provide the American public a much clearer understanding of the administration's leadership during a time of transition and crisis.